They're up 6 with 25 seconds left. You can't lose that game in the NBA. This ain't college basketball where there's 1-1.
In regulation. Now, you would think if they lost, the game would be in overtime.
Right. That's
you can't lose in regulation.
I mean, to allow your opponent to go on an 8-1 run in the final 24 seconds is unspeakable. Russ missed a free throw. Melo missed 2 free throws after hitting a big shot. And they end up, the Celtics do what they do, which is execute great down the stretch. But I want to talk about what this means for Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City had a chance to get a little bit of separation, get to 44-29, be only 1 game back of Portland, by the way, for the 3 seed, have a good chance of hosting the round of the playoffs as the 4 seed.
Yes.
If they don't get there, man, now they're 43-30. Well, the Jazz have 31 losses. They're the 8 seed. Like, the Thunder could have finally gotten out of that muck of the 5 through 8.
Could have separated himself a little bit.
So I will say this. You know who was bummed Oklahoma City lost last night, aside from the Thunder? Man, the Rockets and the Warriors. I don't think Oklahoma City can beat either one of those teams. But Oklahoma City now might be playing them in the first round. Like, the Thunder hate that idea because then they can't win a round of the playoffs. But those teams hate it too because that's a difficult team to play. They should not be in this position with 9 games left in the year, that they might be the 7 or the 8.
It's kind of shocking, too. Boston undermanned. OKC playing great ball, in control of the game.
I know.
And you would not think, for one, you didn't think Melo was going to miss both free throws. I mean, he would at least make 1. So even if they bang a 3, you're into overtime. But missing both of those, and Brad Stevens calling that play at the end to get a sidestep, open 3-pointer. Man, that right there, that was huge for Boston. It was a tremendous loss because of the lack of separation, and they were playing such good basketball before giving away. They've lost their cushion. So now, I mean, if you look at Utah, they played less games than them, so they can get the win total up, and they could flip from 3-4 to 7 easy.
And the Melo missing both, I know people probably think, well, if he made 1, it still goes to overtime. I reject that idea. If you're up 3, you are guarding that play so differently.
Or you can foul him.
Right, you can foul him, or the reason they got the open 3 was Jason Tatum beat his man off the dribble. Defense collapsed towards him.
Yep.
If you're up 3 and a guy beats you off the dribble 2 seconds left, let him have the layup. Who cares? Like, Melo missing, you can't be an NBA non-center and missed 2 free throws at the end of the game. That's my guy. He brought me a championship at Cuse. That's brutal.
Here's how much it bothered CeCe. First, you walked into my office. I didn't even say hello. First thing you said, dang, Syracuse grad.
Yeah, man. He doesn't like missed free throws.
Hey, when they do well, we take credit for it.
Right.
But hey, when they don't do well, we got to take that L.
I mean, I think you have to start with the head coach. You have to start with how hard the team plays every night. The defensive intensity that has been at a playoff level since game 1 and is sustained through game 73. And the overall depth of not elite NBA players, but NBA players who you are getting the most out of their abilities from. Terry Rozier, they drafted him. They talked him up when it came to trades. People didn't see it with Terry Rozier. People thought he was overdrafted in Boston. And then they developed him into the best version of himself. Greg Monroe, who I don't think you can play in the postseason, but they needed some guy to eat minutes and give you some low-post scoring in the regular season. Anyone in the league could have had him. They bring him in. He was effective yesterday. Like, you are getting the most out of all your players. You are developing your players. And in close games, you have an edge every night because of your head coach. Every single night because of your head coach, you have a tactical edge. You saw it last night. A lot of teams go for the 2 to tie. The Celtics understand analytically, unless you have a wide-open layup, it makes more sense to go for a lower percentage 3 to remove the 50-50 proposition of overtime. They do that better than any team in the league. They are the best out-of-timeout team of any team in the league. I assign that to Brad Stevens, their brilliant head coach.
And that didn't start this year just because they got Kyrie there. Last year, with them having the best record in the East, you could see that Brad Stevens, he was going to be an elite coach. Now, with the lack of assets to play with, Horford not playing all-star basketball, his development of younger players, Jaylen Brown, he wasn't there last night, but his overall development as a basketball player. Tatum, as a 20-year-old, seeing him develop a jump shot and having a very successful rookie campaign. It leads to not only the head coach, there are also basketball operation, Danny Ainge, and their ability to develop younger basketball players. Some organizations, you don't see that. You see guys go there and they don't actually get better. We see that in Boston. And anytime that you have a culture where you're going to have guys play defense in the NBA, you will have a chance to win every night because of that defensive intensity. And they have that there in Boston every night.
And keep in mind, they lost Gordon Hayward. Most of their guys, some of these guys are 20 years old that they're asking him to put big minutes in and play up against other guys the entire season, and that's a credit to what Brad Stevens has done.
Before we move on, I'm just going to put one thing out there just to keep in mind. If Kyrie does end up getting shut down, if Kyrie doesn't play in this postseason, we will then have to reevaluate the steal of the Kyrie Irving trade from the Cavs to the Celtics. Celtics are thrilled that they have Kyrie no matter what, but if Kyrie's knee is in a place to where, imagine if that trade doesn't happen, and with 9 days left in the season, Cleveland's like, Kyrie Irving might not be able to play in what is the last postseason with LeBron James, what that would mean for their ability to compete for a championship. So I hope Kyrie is able to play, but I also don't want the Celtics to have the mistake with Kyrie be the mistake with Isaiah. Play through the injury, and all of a sudden it hurts his ability long term. So that's just something to monitor as well.
It's never good when you go get a second opinion because you don't like the opinion of the first guy.
Correct. Absolutely right.
Don't get me started on the third opinion.
Nope.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.